Genesis 9:13 through 15. Yes, indeed, it won't be long now. God's decree. Things are going to happen so fast your head will swim. One thing fast on the heels of the other. You won't be able to keep up. Everything will be happening at once, and everywhere you look, blessings. Blessings like wine pouring off the mountains and hills. I'll make everything right again for my people Israel. They'll rebuild their ruined cities. They'll plant vineyards and drink good wine. They'll work their gardens and eat fresh vegetables. And I'll plant them on their own land. They'll never again be uprooted from the land I've given them. God, your God, says so. Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Maya Moments. This is your host, Maya, and I am here with my dear friend, sister, someone that I just love to do life with, Alexis Maye. She is a photographer, creative director, and the owner of Alexis Michelle Photography. And I'm just so honored to have her here with me today. So say hi, Lex.
What's good? What's popping? Hello? Hey guys.
This is a conversation we're going to have. It's nothing crazy, but I feel like it will be impactful to those that it is meant to inspire and help, especially for Alexis, because she does things creatively in different ways than other people. With her being a creative director, I feel like a lot of people don't know what that is or what that entails, like day-to-day tactics. So I'm happy that she's going to be giving some education on that, and then also just talking about her story and why mental health awareness is something that she feels the Lord has placed on her heart. I think it's going to be fun. And so how do you feel, Lex?
I feel good. I feel like this is really, really, I'm excited. I've really been thinking about this since you asked me. So I've just been like, oh my gosh, what are we going to talk about? Oh my gosh. So, I'm not going to act extra, but I'm really, really excited. I'm excited that you're doing it. It's here. It's live. It's in effect. So I'm excited. I'm just here to sit back, enjoy the ride, and do what I can. So
it's like My Moments 2.0. This is like a totally different way of doing the podcast. So what is a creative director? Let's just start there, because I feel like a lot of people don't know what creative direction is or what does that entail. So
Well, I'll kind of start from the bottom and then kind of work my way up. So I'll kind of define an art director first and then do a creative director.
Okay.
Because I feel like you have to know what an art director does in order to know what a creative director does. Right. So an art director really focuses on the visual, like the feel, the look and the feel for a project or anything. Any brand, anything you see visually, that's what a creative director does. It helps, bring in colors and just objects, whatever visual aid that's needed. What an art director does is bring all of that together. Kind of basically set like a guideline for an artist or a designer, whoever's on the project, so that they can, have a clear direction so they can actually create something. Right. A creative director is different. It's not exactly different, but I would say it's an art director and then some. So what all the stuff that I said an art director does, a creative director does, but not only is a creative director focusing on like the creative side, they're focusing on finances. They're focusing on the budget. They're focusing on the producers, making sure they're good as well. They're focused on the whole creative agency as a whole. They're focused on a lot of logistics stuff that not necessarily an art director would do. An art director can just focus on the project and then, okay, that's it. A creative director is, no, you got to hire these people. You got to hire the people in the budget that you've been allotted to. Yeah. You got to, make sure contracts are good and things like that. So it's a lot more than what people think about. With creative direction, I feel like a lot of people kind of mix the two. It's like, no, you do both, but a creative director that I have seen personally has taken on a lot more roles and a lot more departments than just what an art director would.
And even more so than that, I think a better picture for people that are trying to like connect the two would probably be like an executive producer of sorts. Like executive producers, they're over the budget, they're over a delegation, they have people under them, they're a superior of sorts. And so sometimes maybe they will delegate things to the art director to do instead of them having to do it. But the creative director is kind of all of these things into one, and then they are the liaison of sorts to like go and make sure it's done correctly, whether they're the ones doing it or they're finding the people to do it. And so it encompasses a lot, because you're not only giving creative direction, but you're making sure that it happens in the way that you need it to happen, in the time frame that you need it to happen, for the budget that has been allotted, and you're representing the brand in that. And so, yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's something a lot of people see and are like, oh, I wonder who, made the decisions here or there. I would like to do that. But they don't know the name for saying the decision maker. And that decision maker's name is creative director. And so it sounds like a fancy title, or like a very aloof title, but it's very specific, and it's kind of a niche title for brands or businesses that have a budget already allotted for it. So a lot of people a lot of people would love to have a creative director, but they don't have the budget for a creative director. And so you find other ways to do it or compromise on certain things. But like for you personally, like how did you even figure out what a creative director was, and like what made you want to become one?
So honestly, okay, I kid you not, the first time I found out the actual name was in 8th grade. But I already knew what I wanted to do. Like I already knew like the things the creative director was, but I never knew the name. And that kind of started from, I'd say like maybe elementary school, middle school. Like I love movies, love filming. And so I say more into middle school. That's when I really started like fine tuning it or trying to figure out like what it was. I would be on the computer all day. I'm a tech person. So literally I would ask my parents to go on the computer and literally run facts. I would literally like be researching stuff. Like I just, looking up, Forbes and stuff like that. I was like, God, what are you doing? I would just look up just anything. Right. And so, as I began to do and start looking at films, I started looking up like, director and things like that, which is stuff I wanted to do, but it wasn't quite, the
full picture.
The full picture. Yeah. Like I was still seeing like skills and stuff that this position had that I didn't know the name of, but it was like, yeah, it's director, but it's not, technically that. So I'm really trying to figure this out, right? This is me at what? How old are you supposed to be at like middle school? Like what, 12 or something
12,
like that?
13, I'm not 14, about that. Yeah.
Facts. I'm not supposed to be thinking about that. I'm supposed to be thinking about like boys or something. I don't know. So, I don't know. It was just weird.
You had your future on your mind.
Listen, trying to get to the bag early. Period. Trying to get to the bag early. Nah. So I kept looking it up, and finally I found the title on some website. I wish I remember the website, but it said creative director, and it had all the stuff that I literally want to do. I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. And so the crazy thing is, during I say this was like 7th grade, almost going into 8th grade. 8th grade, we had this program at our school where the counselors would, reach out to us and see what we wanted to do and kind of like help us plan out the course from like high school to wherever. Right. So I remember this day actually, like literally in my brain. I was meeting with my counselor outside of our school trailer because we had like a classroom in a trailer. And we're sitting on the steps and she's asking me like, okay, like what would you like to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a creative director. And she said, I've never heard that. She was like, what do they do? And so I just like tell her like, boom, 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 this is what they do. And she's like, man, she's like, I wish I had a plan like for how you can really attain that, because I literally have no idea. So she was like, all right, but we're going to figure this out. So like the most, I guess, that she found was like a technology program at a high school that I went to. It was like all talking about like computer science and stuff like that. So she was like, maybe you can start there, like, and then see where, it takes you. I was like, all right, I'll try it. Like, I don't know how to get there. Yeah. So ever since from then, like on, that's what I've literally always wanted to do. So
that's crazy, because I think it kind of like what your counselor said, I think is how a lot of people view a lot of creative mediums, but especially something like creative direction. It's like, I don't even know where to start, how to start. And like, how do I
Mm-hmm.
even, it's something that I may want to do, but like, what does that look like realistically? I think that's honestly why I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do this season, speaking with creatives, because like I found myself in those places. And of course, it's kind of hard when you're the only creative around, or like you don't have other
Mm-hmm.
creative people around you, meaning like
Yeah.
friends, family members, parents, cousins,
Mm-hmm.
siblings. If you're the only
Mm-hmm.
person, then that is like an ultimate wall and barrier and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
God has blessed both of us with having some incredible
Yeah.
friends that were creative. But like, do you think when you were in that time that it was discouraging at all? Or like, did you kind of feel fine about it? Like you kind of knew that you were going to be able to get to the place you wanted to be, regardless of the other people and
Mm-hmm.
how they would be able to help you or not help you?
Yeah, I say it was like a little bit of both because it's crazy how God works, like in, just a lot of ways. Like, it's crazy, like when God, it's like, the best way I can describe how I was feeling at the moment is when God gives you a vision, like this great vision that you're supposed to do and you're supposed to accomplish, but then like you're sitting here working at like a fast food place and you're like, okay, God, how the heck is that going to work?
Yeah.
Like, because no one really explains to you, the where you're starting to there it
Yeah.
is, the and suddenly,
Yeah.
as what people say, in prophetic stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, dog, like, how does that work? That's how I was kind of thinking because my vision wasn't matching up to the work ethic or like anything, or even the mentality or even skills that I had. It wasn't matching to the vision that I kept seeing in my head every single day.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, so how is this going to work? And I don't know how this works. And I'm only, what, 13? I don't know what the
Yeah.
heck I'm doing. Like,
There's
and so when you
hormones
have
and
God's
puberty happening.
right. Right. But it's like so that's why it's like it's so crazy when you have God's like you have like, God's voice in your ear like that young, but it's like, okay, God, so like how's this gonna work
Yeah.
though? Like, I don't know, I'm just a kid. And he's like, I've created you, I've trained you for this. I've
Yeah.
prepared you for
And
this.
honestly
By the time that you get
speaking,
there.
like when
Mm-hmm.
you are younger, I feel like it's easier for
Mm-hmm.
God to like download things into you because you're not always thinking about all the logistics that when you get older, you're
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't do that. Like that's just hard. Like that has a lot to do for it. And I don't even have the
Mm-hmm.
resources to be able to do that. But like when you're a kid, you're
Mm-hmm.
just like, I want to do that. I feel like God gave that to me and like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but
Yeah.
I really believe it's gonna happen. And so I think
Facts.
that's a
Facts.
testament to just like God's favor. And like when he gives a
Mm-hmm.
vision, he gives provision for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like not even that, like I'll go back to when he said about like logistics. Sometimes it's not even like logistics. Sometimes it's like, when you're a kid, like your imagination is big, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when someone tells you like I love Michael Todd because he always uses the example with his daughter, like and his he's telling his daughter
Yeah.
that, she wants to go or she's gonna go to Disneyland. And she's like, okay, cool, like that's it, we're going to Disneyland. But like as an adult, you try to think about money and things like that and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. But the kid is like, no, you said we're going to Disneyland,
Right.
so that's it. Like a child is so much different than an adult. An
Absolutely.
adult, like we've been through trauma, we've been through all this stuff. So each time we've gone through stuff, and each time we've either had like a traumatic blow in our lives and our minds or anything like that around us, it's like our, imagination's like going down, like that tank is going down.
Yeah.
But like as a kid, you're not thinking about
No,
all this
you're
stuff. You're
not.
thinking about,
I'm gonna
I'm
have
thinking, I want to get
pretzels. I'm
this.
about to see Mickey Mouse.
Facts. Exactly. I'm about to have a good
Very
time.
much
And then
so.
when that time comes, I'm fine. But like adults, we have this, we never really have that kid like imagination anymore, which is like
Weird.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
crazy, but it
is. It
happens. And
does.
I can't even say it doesn't happen to me. It
Yeah.
happens to me a lot.
Yeah,
So
very
it's
much
like,
so.
it's
Especially when
crazy.
you are in a creative job as well. I feel like you kind of
Mm-hmm.
stifle your own creativity in the childlike sense.
Jesus.
Like I had to start, and I haven't done it, but like I was like, I need to get back to the basics, like the kiddie childlike stuff. Like I need to just go get a
Mm-hmm.
coloring book and just get crayons and color and like let my creativity in that very infant type of state like help me because those stress-free things just kind of free you up from like a whole big old thing. So yeah. Okay, so I think if I'm not mistaken, what was your first official CD or creative director position, or where do you feel like you were able to like get, I don't know, like you felt officially in that where you were at? Was it in ministry with you helping your dad and your mom? Alexis is a PK Unicorn Gang Gang. So you know, like was it there, or do you feel like it was some other ways? Like where do you feel that you were like in that position and you were growing?
I'll say honestly, it started at church. I didn't even realize it started at church. I didn't think, I could do it in that church setting. I thought I had to do it outside of the church. And so the stuff that I didn't really take seriously, or the skills that a creative director is supposed to have. I did it. I just didn't really take it seriously like that. Cause it was just like, it can't happen here. It can happen maybe outside, but not here. And I was doing it the whole time and I didn't even realize it, to be honest. And I didn't realize it how much till I actually went to the place where I thought I felt official at, which was, it's a shout out to them, Culture Villains. I did a internship. Whoop, whoop, whoop. They're a Christian music label, or a part of the CHH, which is Christian hip hop.
Yeah.
But they are a music label.
Yeah.
And they just focus on a lot of positive music and things like that. And once I interned for them, that's when I was like, okay, now I'm going to feel official. But it was like the stuff that I was bringing, it was like I was used to bringing it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What I thought was like this mountain or plateau was really something that I already knew the whole time. So I was like, this is it? Like,
yeah.
And I laughed because every time I talked to my mom and dad about it, I was like, duh, like you were doing this before. You just didn't realize it, or put that, you didn't put that title on you because you didn't believe it. But literally, Alexis, you've been doing this the whole time. I laugh at my dad because he always jokes with me. He always roasts me like, girl, you've been telling people what to do since you was little. Why did you like what? Literally. And then your mother, and then my mom, she's been doing administrative stuff for like administrative assistant for like 25 plus years, working in HR departments and stuff like that. It was like, Alexis, all that stuff is in you. Why didn't you think that Jesus is the message?
Imposter syndrome be like what you like. None of us have arrived or any of that stuff. But I think when you get to your dream position or wherever you think, you're like, oh, this is all going to be great. And truth be told, if you are in the position where God has called you, it doesn't happen on accident. You've been cultivating these skills long before you ever had a title attached to your name. But it sometimes doesn't click until you get inside the position. You're like, oh, okay. All right. And so, I am glad you said CV because you did do creative direction at CV. Shout out to Culture Villains.
Yeah. Shout out.
She's like an official member of Culture Villains.
I'm crying.
She's an official member of Culture Villains. My man's is on the label, so CV the gang. You already know.
Shout out to the bro.
Shout out to gang. Okay? Okay, so that's your first official CD position.
Yeah, pretty much.
What happens? Like, how did you get the position? And then what did you learn while you were there? Because I know what you did while you were there. I know you were honestly, you were over Cam's problematic rollout for his first album. It wasn't an album necessarily when we were doing it, but it ended up being an album. And all the logistics. So what happens? Like, how do you even get there?
Yeah. So I was planning to go to college, all right? And so that's why I even decided to even do the internship thing, because I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to school, a little 6 months, take some courses, so I'll be able to get, an internship. And so that's during around when I was deciding to do that, that's when Culture Villains started announcing some internship roles and things like that. So I said, okay. So I was looking at the roles and I saw creative director and I'm like,
Bing.
and I'm like, okay, let me just see, like, what it is. So I, read the description. I'm like, I think I can do this. But nah, I'm not gonna apply for it. And then shout out to one of my great friends. His name's Joseph Brown. Shout out to, we call him JoJo. We were yes, we were talking about it. We were just catching up, just, we always just catch up just randomly. And we were talking, we started talking about it. He was like, yeah, like you saw like the roles and stuff, right? And I was like, yeah, I was thinking about doing the creative direction position, but I'm not sure if I can handle it. I'm not sure if I can handle doing stuff for church and stuff like that at the same time. Like, I'm not sure if I'm prepared mentally, character-wise, anything.
Please.
He's like, Alexis, bro, stop talking and literally apply. Like, he was just like, dog, okay. He was like, every single excuse I gave, he was literally like, you can do this.
You can do that.
You can do this. You can balance it. You can do this. You're just gonna have to push through it type of thing. So I was like, all right, whatever. So he was like, you're gonna apply and then you text me when you finish applying. So
accountability.
Like,
I know that's right.
Literally. He was like, I'm gonna get off the phone. You finish your application, and then you let me know when you submit it. And he's like, send me the screenshot when you submit it. So I took a picture. I was like, I submitted it, whatever. And so once I submitted it, got an interview with Travis. He's the head of Culture Villains.
Wow.
And then we just had a conversation, just about, how I would do stuff and, what would be the first thing I would do in a situation. And the crazy thing was all the stuff I was saying out like the answers to, he was like, dang, I would have done the same thing. He was like, so we were just, in sync without even realizing it. And like I was laughing in the interview because heck, I was selling myself. I was like, Jesus, yeah, that's good. Like I was like, it was just coming out. And like I said, God develops us so much. You don't really realize what's in you until it comes out. And so those are one of those moments. And then I got the position, and it was great. I will say it was very challenging, because of the fact that, or I'll say it like this, one thing God, always stresses to us is to make sure that, your character is good. You make sure that your habits are good. A lot of times when we go into this new season, one of the things God has always told me, it's like, Alexis, you cannot bring these old habits into this new season. He would always like tell me that. And I think what happened in this season, in my time with Culture Villains, I understood it. And there was some stuff I did change, but I didn't totally change my mindset a lot of the stuff at times, and it allowed imposter syndrome, fear. Sometimes there are times where I'm gotten way better now a little bit with organization, but at times I wasn't, the best with organization. So some stuff fell through or things like that. And so it was one of those things where God blesses you with something, and it's like, if you're not careful based on the mentality and thing you have, it can literally turn into a curse, or it can either turn into a blessing based on at the time, or even like the mindset that you're in. So for me, it was a whole blessing, but it was a wake-up call more to say, no, I got to get it together for real. Like it was like God can just literally just put something in my lap at a minute and literally grant something, be like, all right, cool. And I'm like, ooh.
And I think you said it before. You said, don't let your gift take you where your character can't keep you.
Your character can't keep you. Yeah. It's that's a whole it's a whole other thing. But it's like, let my life, say for example, I was not prepared for some of the stuff that I thought I was, quote unquote. That if I honestly just would have developed it in discipline, or just really, changed and did the stuff I need to do, I probably would have rocked it a lot more. I wouldn't have had like struggle a lot more. It probably would have been some of the processes and stuff that I learned, even how to even develop projects, would have been way easier if I just knew how to plan. Right. Or it'd be way easier if I just knew how to structure this or structure that. But then also, I will say, I learned also how to give myself grace too, because this is a new position I've never done before too. Because you can't just get hard on yourself so much, and then you don't give yourself grace. One thing I'll just say is, bro, give yourself some grace.
Give yourself grace.
You're human. Take your doggone time. It's not like I have ever done a position. I've done a position and I've been trained in a lot of stuff, of course, but to culminate all those skills and actually bring it together for the very first time was new to me. And it can be new to anybody else. So it's like, dog, give yourself some grace. And then, if you have, the structures and stuff, back it up. Cool. But like also give yourself some grace too in that process as you're developing it, as you're changing, because everybody's not going to come perfect. You're not going to come like, with the best, singer or rapper. You're not going to go from this in an instant. And sometimes a lot of times.
And to add to that, like, just because you have the skills, like a lot of times God will cultivate us in a hidden place, right? We're hidden. We don't even know that we're hidden. We just know I'm doing what I'm doing. And so when you first get the opportunity to do things, you're now kind of have eyes on you for the first time. And so those circumstances bring things out of you that are supposed to happen. Like, it doesn't matter how prepared you can be for something. Certain things aren't going to hit you until you're in the way. And so when you get there, you were having aha moments. And, from a friend's perspective, I was around for some of these things. So, we had our talks about certain things, and it was just like, you're doing incredible. Like, even with all of the things that you may have done wrong or you wish that you did better, you still were doing a phenomenal job. And so it was just like, I'm glad you said you were giving yourself grace, because grace was needed for your behalf. We can be so hard on ourselves. And I think this doesn't go just for you. I think the people around us in general, like, God has really blessed us with people. And I want to highlight on that as well. Because like her talking about JoJo and how he was like, no, you're going to apply. Like, I don't know how to tell you this in any other way than just saying you need community. Like, you have to have community. The accountability you get in the community, the way that God speaks. Literally, this podcast would not be happening right now the way that it's happening if Alexis, y'all don't even know the half of it, but like, God spoke through her to me. Like, imagine my disbelief that my friend is telling me about something that I had been like in a place talking to God about myself, and he like confirmed some things through her. So sometimes God doesn't even speak directly to you. He speaks to the people around you. Like, you gotta get in community. Like, please.
Yeah, it's so important, especially you have to really have those people. I say, like, in the holies of holies, like, you have like all these people, like, people talk about in heaven, you have all these little angels and stuff, but you have like them, like, people that's like close,
the inner circle,
that can handle or like that can see exactly. And sometimes everybody cannot be in your holies of holies, but the ones that are,
that's a word.
You're literally listen. They are there for a reason. And when you're if you are that person that is in that holies of corner, be that person. Sometimes we need those people that can take the blinders off our eyes and say, fix that, because you got to change that. Or sometimes be like, when I talk down to myself so much, like, mine is like, girl, get yourself together.
I do not allow it.
Like, she does not allow me. Like, even when I talk about compliments, she's like, Alexis, say thank you. I don't understand why you don't say thank you.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all not gonna be self-talking down to yourself in my presence. I will not have it, because I know how I am about myself and how I can down talk myself. And I've had to come to a place where no, like, there's nothing wrong with accepting a compliment. You look nice today. Thank you very much. And like, when you start to accept compliments, you actually start to feel better about like thinking and believing positive things about yourself. Sometimes we're quick to believe negative things that, oh, my hair don't look right. Oh, my teeth not straight. Oh, this, that. Like, I don't have the best body. And we are okay to believe those things. But when someone says, you look really nice today, like, oh, girl, I don't know. Did I stutter? Did I stutter? Because I don't think I stuttered when I said that you look nice today. But this seems to be...
No, facts. And it's crazy. It's crazy that you said that too. I was laughing because I was actually, before this, I was looking at my my counselor. Her name's Sheila Battle, and I've been going to her a lot for therapy. Shout out to Miss Sheila. She's amazing.
Come on, Jesus in therapy.
Yes, Black woman, love her.
Wow.
But it was crazy how she was talking about compliments. Like, when people, it's like a lot of people are taught to give, but they don't learn how to receive. And she was talking about a story of how she used to like never, like, not really like accept compliments. Like, it'd be like, always, casting them down, like how sometimes, I would do and stuff like that. And so someone caught her doing it one day, like just kind of talking down to her about herself. And she was like, that's pride. And my counselor was like, huh? It was like, basically, you're telling that person, it's like, no. It's like, basically, no matter what you say, it's like, no. You know, it's you know, it's like, it trumps over it doesn't trump over how much like I feel. And I was literally thinking about that, and I was like, Jesus, Lord, I'm sorry.
That's good. I never even thought about it like that. Wow.
That joke hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't like pride. I don't there's either. Stuff like I'm constantly, one thing about me, and anybody who knows me knows that I am constantly working on the habits of myself that I need to change. Like, I'm a person who
self-aware,
will take ownership and do this stuff. It's right, self-aware, and will take ownership and learn how to change the stuff. So when she said it was pride, I was like, it's not pride.
Not pride. Talking about pride. Wait a minute.
Yo,
she said, I was like, no,
it's not pride. You know how the flesh kind of gets you in a little bit. It's like, yeah, nah, it's not that. It's not that. You know how we get into our walls, we get into
it. Wow.
But when I thought about it, I was like, dang, bro.
Yeah.
I was acting like that. So now I'm like, yeah, I'm at a different perspective. Praise the Lord. I need to do that. Society,
what do we call that? Growth. Love it. Man. Okay, so I think honestly that segues perfectly into mental health. Let's talk about it. So I mean, I think it was said, I saw some type of quote about how, okay, we're Black. Shocker, we're Black. I think but Black creatives, like, I think it's like 90 percentile suffer from a lot of mental health issues, especially anxiety and depression and those sorts.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you had a really crazy blessing happen last year where you've been working on some inner works about mental health and filmmaking, and you submitted something to Good City Music, is it? Good City Music, yes, with Butta P, and you won a grant. So talk about that process with you applying for it and you getting it. Were you off guard? I know this, but it, and I will never stop congratulating her for that because that was crazy. But yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. So in 2019, I had gotten an idea. I've been going through a lot of stuff with mental health, and I just took a time where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop, spend time with God, and fix whatever this is. So it was the worst that I had been mentally during that time. And so after that, and I started, spending time with God more, it was great, a lot of stuff was healed and things in the process. And then he brought up the idea about the mental health documentary. So I was supposed to do it 2019, ended up not doing it. Supposed to do it 2020, ended up not doing that. It was just a lot of stuff because of fear and just everything like that. So around March of 2021, I finally was like, you know what? You've told me to do this. I'm deciding, yes.
Obedience?
I'm, obedient. Yeah. I'm going to decide to do it. Yeah. I said, no, I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to do it. So I was in the, mindset of really applying for stuff to see if I can get funding, to get, just certain things for the project and things like that. So my mom helped me a lot. Shout out to my mom. So I saw this grant on Twitter one day, and usually I do not apply to stuff because my faith level was very, very low. And so I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to get that. And it's just no.
Wow.
And during the time I was I saw it, but I was I don't know. And then finally, I heard, it's that still small voice. I'll be saying, look, listen, I'll give credit to where credit's due. I'm saying the Holy Spirit, because that's what
Holy
it is.
Spirit.
Amen,
Come
amen,
on,
amen. And the Holy Spirit was like, just go ahead and apply for it. Just go and apply for it. And usually I wouldn't really hear that as much with a lot of stuff. And that's why I want to first say, make sure that you're hearing the voice of God when you're applying to stuff and doing stuff. Because there's a reason why he's telling you to do something. It's no, I need you to, do the yes and stuff so that I can actually give you, what you need to have. And so I feel like it was one of those moments. It was go and apply for it. Or for it. And I was like, all right. So I just, opened the computer, clicked the link. I kid you not, it was literally 11:58. So I literally had to like type in the answers like in my notes and like copy and paste it so that like I can like do it faster. So literally it was like 11:59. Honestly, it probably hit 12 o'clock when I submitted it, or it was. So I was really praying that like it actually submitted. So we actually took it. I was like, all right, bet. But I was like, Lord, I can't be doing this stuff last minute anymore. Jesus, that was a lot of pressure.
It gets a little spicy, you know? It adds a little pizzazz.
a little pizzazz. I don't know. But literally, like, I'm surprised it took it. Like, he was literally like 12 o'clock, 12:01. Was like, oh, yeah, it's submitted. I was
don't
like,
question
Jesus.
the Holy Spirit.
I said, all right. I said, all right, Lord, you told me to apply for it. So, whatever you want to do with it, cool. Then I just like time goes past. There was a lot of stuff that was going on with me mentally during the time too. Mm-hmm. So, I was kind of, feeling down about it. I was really feeling down about just, job and like money and like, Lord, you told me to do this, but then it's like, how am I going to do it? And it was just like a whole bunch of stuff. And then I had gotten the email saying, congratulations. I think the day of was like in March. I had gotten the email saying, congratulations. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, no. I literally screamed at the top of my lungs because I talked to my parents about everything. So we were believing God, they knew the whole journey too. And they was like, yes, like, girl, you're supposed to get it. Like, come on now. And so I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs. I texted like two of my friends. I texted you and I texted one of my other friends. And I was like, I got it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then everybody started hyping me up. So I'm like, what's going on? And then I see like people hyping me up. And I was like, oh, first of all, I felt loved. I was like, Jesus.
As you should.
Because it was definitely, and I needed that too. It was definitely a win that I needed to show me first that God's like, okay, where God, gives vision, he gives provision. And so for me, I didn't technically, believe that during that time. So it was like a reminder for me, like, see, I told you, all you needed to do was say yes.
Yeah.
All you needed to do was actually do it. Like, or at least I didn't even start anything. I literally just made the decision to do it. Like, literally, I just made the decision and was like, you know what, God? Nah, I'm going to be obedient and do what you're telling me to do. And literally right after that,
that's usually,
that's when I got the grant.
I don't want to put expectations on other people that's going to happen for you. Like, when you say yes, God's going to immediately come through. That doesn't necessarily be true. Sometimes you are in the waiting game and you're being faithful and obedient and not knowing, like, God, I'm trusting you because this don't feel the way I thought it would feel. It don't look the way I thought it was supposed to be look, but I know what you told me, and so I'm just being faithful because I think that's what you told me to do. But but like, honestly, it's the whispers. Like, God whispers sometimes to you, and if you don't hear it, if you're not in a state of like, not even mind, but like in your spirit, if you're not in a state to be able to hear the whispers, you will miss out on opportunities that God has given to you, but he needs your obedience. He needs you to be able to say yes and trust and be faithful in it, Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't even expect it. I honestly didn't. Like, I didn't know if I was going to get it or not, honestly, because I know the game of grants. You don't always get the first grant that you apply for. You don't always get this. Like, I knew the rules. I knew the game and stuff of grants, I've grown in a family where we've worked with nonprofits for like years. So I already knew like what,
odds.
So I didn't expect it. Honestly, I knew the odds. It was just like, all right, if I get it, if I get it, if I don't, I don't. But you told me to apply for it. There's something with it. So it was just like, all right, cool. And it literally like wasn't, all this stuff of what people think of, the obedience and things like that. Like, of course it was obedience. Like, I think we really don't. I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but it's like we really think like when God asks us about this stuff, like the practical stuff, that it's like extra. It's all this stuff. No, like it's literally practical.
Very practical.
You will want your like if I was talking to you, like in I was in the community and like I got to know you and things like that, I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna make sure that you're cool. So if I see an opportunity, I'm gonna throw it your way. But if you're not in the community and I don't even know who you are, there's no way I can do it. Why do we apply that into business? But when it comes to God, it's like, yeah, no, he doesn't work that way. He created that word.
He did. But there's a disconnect because I feel like if you are we don't think or move in terms of we are ambassadors of a different kingdom and we are ambassadors on earth. We think we are residents of this earth and we are going to a heaven, right? And so, like, when there's a disconnect, you start to have attributes and you think things about God that he never said about himself, but you believe. And then, there's church hurt, there's trust issues, and like how you view other relationships is how you start to view God. But like I think I'm glad that God was able to like just use that moment to speak into you and to allow you to see like how much you support you had even outside of just the grant, but like to see people having you up and being excited for you. Alexis is one of the most supportive people ever, right? And so she's at the concert, she's coming to things, she's taking the photos, she's in the crowds gone hype, like, but like sometimes it's good for you to be the one getting hyped for it. Somebody coming up to show up for you and someone being there for you and celebrating you. And like those moments are necessary. And so I'm glad, I was just able to hype her up real quick. Period.
That was honestly amazing. Like seeing all the love, even from people that I didn't even know. That was like, congratulations, you deserve it. You're literally a great person. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even know you knew who I was. Like it was just like I wasn't used to that. And I literally like broke down and cried. Because it was just like, I did not realize how much people, were for me. No, facts, constantly you hear all these people, I got haters, I got this, I got stuff. It's like, no, you don't. You got more people more than you think. You got more people for you more than you think that you do.
That's a word.
Like, there's more people supporting you, but if you would just actually put the vision out, people will actually support the vision. But you got to write down first.
Come on, somebody. Talk about it, child. Talk about it.
You can't just say, oh, these people don't believe in me, but you're not giving me something to believe in, baby.
Wow.
You got to give me something to believe in.
Yeah.
You can't just, it's like, once you kind of think about that, it kind of decreases like the lies and stuff that constantly fill your head every time. Because if you're not careful, you can really be thinking that people are not out here for you. But no, you just haven't given them something for them to be there for you for.
She said it, not I. She said it, not. And that's the truth. Like, there's so many people the people that, and I know it's hard to see on the internet.
Yeah.
But like there's so many things that happen in regards to just like people want to root for you. People don't want to root against you 9 times out of 10. Like there's an overwhelming amount of people that are for you. I feel like online, the negativity is just, it becomes a cesspool a lot of times. But like even the people that aren't for you, they usually speak and are more forward with what they say than people that are for you. There's a lot of likes you get that don't necessarily have a comment attached, but people are supporting you in a shape or form. So you got to focus on the positive and like, you're going to have people that don't understand, don't agree, don't know what to do, and that comes with anything. But like, God gives you people in your life if you will have them who want to join and help you where you're at, and yeah.
And I also want to say just one more thing too. Like, don't let the stuff like, don't let, sometimes, because I had all this stuff going on in my mind, trauma based, that it was like, I didn't allow for, the love to come to me. I didn't really allow for those positive comments to come. Sometimes, because we've been hurt so much in the past that it's like when something comes, it's like, what is that? Or it's like you don't even receive it because it's like everything's been, just crazy in your mind that's really like hurt your eyes or really hurt your heart enough for you to even like receive that. So it's like, don't let that affect you. One of the things is that we are not responsible sometimes for like the trauma that happens to us, but one of the things is that we are responsible for how to heal from that. And that's the crazy thing. And it sucks sometimes, especially when you hear so much stuff of what people go through. It sucks because we're living in this like fallen world, and it's like So we can't control a lot of this stuff, but we are responsible for one thing, is that healing from it. But the good thing is we don't have to do it by ourselves.
Never.
The good thing is you can do it with God. The good thing is God has placed you around a community that can minister to you. Not only that, God can minister to you. You're his child.
Come on.
He's not going to leave you in the dust and the dirt.
Never leave you nor forsake you. Yeah.
Sometimes we have to really trust and really push out and step out on faith and say, you know what, I'm gonna, trust to receive that, or trust, or even, hope or expect to receive that love. Don't let this trauma get so clouded in your mind that you miss something that could literally help you or even benefit you.
And don't allow like the enemy to lie to you about certain relationships. Of course, not every relationship there is that layer where you can be vulnerable and in a trustworthy and steady, but like a lot of the time, God has placed people around you like who want to be there for you in deeper than surface level ways. And so you miss out on those intimate, close friendships that are platonic because you refuse to open yourself up and be vulnerable. And so like people don't even know how to pray for you because they're praying for things that are superficial when you're deeply hurting about other things. And so just be like just pray about it for real. Like I had to do that so many times. I do not take credit for any of the incredible people in my life. Truthfully, I don't take credit for them because honestly, I didn't seek a lot of them out. I don't think I saw any of them out. I think God just it was the right time, the right place, and it just organically happened those ways. And then I'm just like, oh God, thank you. Like I am so grateful that I have them in my life because they have helped me so much. They restored my trust in relationships. And so like honestly speaking, allow yourself to have a restored faith in people, allow yourself to have restored relationships. And so why is the mental health aspect of like awareness, why is that important to you? Like why do you feel that God has laid it on your heart to do something about it? And like what can we expect?
So how it got started is, personally, I've gone through a lot of stuff concerning mental health. I've gone through multiple suicide attempts, multiple, panic attacks, things like that. Depression was definitely at a all-time high. I wouldn't even say for the past 5 years. I'd really say for the past 10 years, to be honest with you. Because it really kind of started, I would say, freshman year, sophomore year. So I say about 9 or 10 years. So from then on, it really kind of was something that kind of took its hold on me a lot. But I'm glad that I've always like pushed past through it. And so it, through that, this mental health documentary is coming. I'll be able to explain my story a lot more.
I'm excited.
But I definitely am, just for this first part, because it's going to be some great special guests that are going to be in this one. So it's definitely going to be a cool 8-part series. Maybe 15 to 30 minutes long for each session, for each episode. And it's going to be a great one. You're going to have definitely a lot of people talking from different age groups.
Oh, that's so good.
Of course, different genders. So you're going to see a Black man that is in a teenager, but then also who's like 45. So, and then vice versa for women as well.
That's so
and then
good.
also having, stuff from like the medical perspective and spiritual and mental perspective too. So it's going to all come together. So I'm very excited, very, very excited.
I'm so proud of you.
Definitely we're gonna be shooting in January and February. That's gonna be the time that we're gonna be doing it. So this first quarter of the year is gonna be very busy, but it's gonna be fun. And I'm excited. Facts for sure. Listen,
no, that's incredible. Coming, I mean, I'm excited because I feel like for me personally, I know like for myself, my friends know I am not doing nothing for the first 6 months of this year, but like working on myself, God really told me like
Yeah.
this year for me is Sabbath. And like I am being intentional about healing, not only for myself, for my family. Like we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And just to have representation like in incredible ways of having all age ranges or a spectrum of age ranges being represented and like especially not only faith-based but also Black, like it's so important in our community to show that like people, I think it's a nice crusade, it's a nice cause that people talk about, but when it gets to the examples of how we have seen mental health like play out every time, especially for Black men, if they show vulnerability, you kind of see the negative comments or the emasculation that happens in those times. And so I'm grateful for people like you and for these spaces that are saying we need to show people that are dealing with their mental health and the reality of it. I think even more this, and you probably would agree with this as well, like people think mental health is for other people, it's not for them, right? And it's like we all deal with forms of it in our daily lives every day. Yeah, I'm just so glad that there's like representation in this, especially on like we are, I think, connected. A lot of people know us as faith-based people. Like our identity isn't necessarily, oh, we're Christians, but Christians are a part of our identity. Like you just can't get around it. And so I'm thankful that like God gave this to you and that you feel, so led to with courage to go ahead and like go for it. And your testimony is so powerful in itself. And so I know it's going to be, just incredible to just see how God uses it in whatever way he uses it, because people will be shaped by it. And I always say like our testimony, even though we experience it, it's never for us. Like our testimony isn't for us, it's for other people. And so I know that there's going to be so many people who are going to benefit from you just being obedient to like sharing and like using your gifts to like help other people.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a faith project because constantly, of course, like there's stuff going in my mind about like it's my stories, not as big as other people's, or a lot of people have gone through a lot of stuff way more than I have. It's always like those subtle thoughts that like come, but I'm definitely making it a thing this year to like push past through, and it's like, well, Lynn, they'll just look at somebody else's story, but whoever needs to hear
We'll
mine
hear
or anybody
yours.
else's that's gonna get that will hear mine. It's like it's just gonna kind of have to come to that point. Like, oh well,
Too bad.
whatever. I'm gonna do what he told me to do. You just have to make that decision, no matter what.
You gotta be all in. All bets are off. So yeah. Wow. I am so excited for you in that. I'm excited to see how this process goes and like just the updates that we'll be getting about it, because I'm sure there's going to be people that deal with it silently that are going to like be able to say like, wow, thank you for this. Thank you for like we all have influence in micro or major ways with the people that are connected to us. And so I'm sure someone may need that at the right moment, at the right time. And I'm glad that you're being obedient to that in that way. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
I was about to say, I thought I did. I don't know. I would say make sure to just really take care of yourself in this season. It's definitely getting crazy out here. It's definitely getting, it's weird out here. There's definitely gonna be times where, stuff is coming at you a mile a minute. And I've kind of find myself in that season where a lot of stuff is happening, but then also there's stuff happening to me. So it's like, where do I pull from, where do I, the best thing I can offer to is to go to God, because these are the times where, these are times that you hear in the Bible where it talks about, to actually, put your faith in stuff and really, speak and, have that authority. We can't just talk about it. These are the times where it's like, we're going to have to make a priority to do it. So if anything, the best thing I could give is like to really take care of yourself and really speak life of yourself. It's way more powerful than you think. There's a reason why people talk about manifesting and all this stuff, is because words are powerful. And how much more has God, put into our, in our laps with authority, and especially when he's a person who set the word above himself, and we're supposed to speak because of the, it's like this whole, this whole system that we should follow, and that's for us, and that will benefit us, especially in these seasons like this. So I definitely recommend whoever needs it, to take care of yourself. Please. If there's a way to encourage yourself. If you can't find ways to speak, there are confessions. Hey, you can contact me. I can literally give you some confessions to start speaking. It's definitely a marathon. It's not a sprint. And there are people there around there for you. If you got to lean on your people, lean on your people. You are never a burden. You are never, just something people are just going to put you on the shelf. No. You have friends out there who love you. You have a community out there who loves you. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Do not just hold it in, because sure enough, you hold it in and then you're off the road because you've held in so much. Don't do that. It's not going to help you in this season. Whatever you do, trust God, believe God, see, it's good to see positivity on the other side. It's good to see faith. It's good to see yourself in a better place. We're talking about creativity and imagination and all this other stuff. Imagine yourself being better. See yourself being better. We're talking about all this stuff with creativity for business, but we don't even apply it to our own lives. So use this imagination. Use that kid of the imagination that you see, the Disney World and all this other stuff. They're, dreaming big. Heck, if your big imagination is seeing yourself healed, that is okay. If your imagination is seeing yourself restored, whole, or in a better place where you're not, restored. Exactly. So if anything, I just say, use this time, use this year to imagine big. And that can either be in personal or business. So imagine yourself, if you're, believing for your family, to be whole or be connected, be connected, and your family's going through a lot of turmoil right now. See yourself, imagine yourself, close your eyes, how you would imagine to see, the biggest house you would move in and stuff like that. Use that same tool that you use in your imagination to dream big and write on your vision boards. Use those same practices on your life. Faith is there for a reason. There are practical things there for a reason. God has not just said stuff just to fill stuff in a book. He has not. Use that tool. Don't just, think these are not the times where we can just fake it and bull it. I'm not gonna cuss, but it's we bull. Y'all can fill in the blank. You bull your way through life and think, I can get by like this and I can get back like that. You can't just get by with church culture. You're actually going to have to sit down, and you're actually going to have to take care of yourself. You're actually going to have to use the word and actually apply it. You're actually going to have to speak authority and use that authority that God has given you on the inside by Jesus Christ to actually speak this stuff. And, you can do it. You can do it. Believe that you can do it. If you have to close your eyes and imagine yourself to do it, do it. Whatever you have to do in this season, do it. If you have to shut stuff down and things like that, heck, everything really comes to our eyes, in our, in our ear gates. You have to be sensitive with that stuff. If you are going through stuff, in a mental state and things like that, do not keep feeding yourself with that negative, TV and things like that, thinking it's not going to affect you. It affects you more than you think. If you think that words affect you, so much, and, all this other stuff, we say that with words, but we let anything come out the television or come anything out in music. You cannot do that. You cannot think it does not apply to one person, but it does not apply to the other. It applies through everything more than you think. So if anything, use those tools to really take care of your body and your mind in this season. Every word is not going to be healthy for you, so you can block it away, and that's okay. And it's not you being deep or spiritual, it's you taking care of your mental health, because a lot of people don't talk about this stuff. We always are in this constant thing where we say that the church doesn't talk about this, or the church doesn't talk about that. Okay, we're talking about it now. And these are the practical stuff that you need to do. If you have to shut off something, if you have to cut something off from a person, if you have to mute a person on social media because they're talking too much and you just can't take it, you can love them. You love them from afar. You can love them and say, listen, nothing changed, nothing that. You don't even have to tell them that you mute them. You just mute it and you go forward in life. That's it. Like literally, right, go forward in life. You don't have to, whatever you have to do for your mental health and your season, take care of it. Don't be that person to think, well, I can take all this and stuff and it won't affect me. No, baby, it's safe to say it's literally healthy. It's more strength and power for you to cut something off than to be like, yeah, I can take care of it. You know, no, stop. Take your pride little self out the way, humble yourself, and realize that stuff affects you more than you think. Like,
it absolutely does.
We get into this whole, like, you know, hiding and things like that. No, stop. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mind. God doesn't just say this stuff for no reason. No. Take care of your mind. So whatever you need to shut off, whatever you need to do to really help stimulate and just cultivate your mind so that you can have a healthy mind and you can grow from a healthy place, grow from it. Don't keep thinking that you know, it takes strength and more, you know, to take in the hustle. And I've been through a lot and all this other stuff. Dog, you're not hard. You need healing. You need help. Heal yourself. You don't got to do all this. Well, I got to hustle and do all this other stuff. Like, dog, you stressing your brain out. You haven't done nothing yet. Work on the stuff that you need to work on and like heal yourself from the inside out and allow God to do it. You have the creator of the universe literally at your disposal, wanting to help you in your life, and you want to shun it away because it's like, no. And I understand there have been a lot of stuff with trauma and even people and even church people, which literally that's another conversation for another day because I literally despise when that stuff happens. And literally people need to get it together. We are literally the hands and feet literally of Jesus. Which you have to learn how to take your position seriously because there's people out here that need help. But at the same time, like how we said, don't allow the trauma of the past to hurt your vision towards now. Don't allow that in your mental and you're just in your personal life. Really kind of like imagine and dream big and actually trust God and usually just use this time in this year to say, you know what, I'm gonna step out no matter what. I'm going to trust you no matter what, no matter where it takes me, no matter what. It takes a lot of courage to do that, but it's okay. Strength can come in a lot of ways. Don't let all these people who do not have like any knowledge in the world tell you what strength is. Woo! No, because they don't know either.
We're all just trying to figure it out.
They don't know either. We're all just trying to figure it out at this point. There are too many people talking about, oh, you got to do this. Oh, no, you can't do this. Baby, no. And then you be having steps and stuff, extra steps you gotta do? No. Take care of yourself. I didn't mean to go on a whole rant like that, but yeah, I just need to say that.
Bless the people today.
This is time. Yeah, it's time to get yourself together. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mind. Do what you have to do to be healthy. You've been taking care of everybody else. Take care of
once.
You. For once. Listening to everybody else, and what they want to do and their stuff and all this. No, take care of you.
That could be you.
You're not going to miss out on nothing, right? You're not going to miss out on nothing. You are not going to miss out on a thing.
I'll end with this. I think that we always talk about selfishness and these negative connotations that, when we are trying to work on ourselves, we're like, I don't want to be selfish, but I know that I need to work on myself. There is times and place where selfishness is needed. Like, you need to worry about you. You need to focus on you. You need to heal, because when you're not in that place, you can't serve anybody. You're not able to do anything. Yes. And I say this prayer over myself all the time. God, fill me up so much that I give people my overflow. They're not getting what's inside my cup. They're giving what's already out of me, because you've poured so much into me that I don't have to give what's inside of me and be filled back up, but that I'm able to give the overflow of it. And so really just like make time to rest. We live in such a society and a culture that's go, get to the bag, get to the people. You got to travel the world. You got to make money. You got to do all these things by 25. It's like, while that may be true for some, it probably is not the truth for all. And please understand rest, understand healing, And you don't want your children or the people around you to have to deal with your trauma because you never took the time to. So heal.
Go at the pace of grace.
Amen. Selah, as they say, Selah. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking with us, Alexis. I'm sure there is so many nuggets in here that people will be able to benefit from. And I am so glad to finally have you on here and to talk with you and to love you so much. You can follow Alexis on her social media outlets. Her Instagram is _Alexis Michelle 1 and her Twitter is _Alexis Michelle 1. She will be updating us with announcements about the documentaries and different things of those natures soon. If you have any photographer needs, you can follow her Alexis Michelle Photography page and reach out from there. And yeah, I'm glad we were able to have this conversation, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, guys.
Peace.